Well, apparently turns out that, as per a couple more times beforehand, my granddad has a slight urinary tract infection, which happens fairly often because it's a pain in the fucking ass to get him to drink water. But yeah, quite the fright because, again, the symptoms have overlap. Last time he had these similar symptoms, he had in fact had a transient ischemic attack that damaged a part, I believe, of his occipital lobe or something to that effect. Good news, but still. Keeping up with exercise for the elderly and knowing in what doses, because there is that, pushback of they don't always want to do it, and you don't always want to do it because it's really dull. It's a pain. It's worth it, though. It's just that there's just so many things that are hard to predict and go through, and there's very little in the way of information based to go on it. Even when you have information, it's like, what do you do with it? Because applying that information to every case is going to be different. But since I had posted earlier about the fact that my granddad was going to be in the hospital, yeah, thought I'd post the update. He's back here. Still seems a little bit, less than 100%, but he's got himself some antibiotic and should be doing fine from here on out. Yeah. Saw some tents outside of the ER with people in there all like hazmat style. That was certainly interesting. But yeah, what a weird time we're living in, right? Don't have terribly much to say. Kind of hung out today, did a lot less than I was planning to because of all that happened. It really just ended up being a Netflix and chill thing where I discovered this show made by Spaniards called Aramentari, the Blacksmith, and the Devil. Or maybe it's a movie. I think it's a movie. It's made in 2018. And the interesting thing about this is I forgot that Spanish people fucking existed. It's really interesting because, they had a whole vast empire, a lot of which you can still see the echoes of in Mexico and South America. But you never, because it's such a small, uninfluential country now, you never think about Spain. Anyway, food for thought there. Really great show that I recommend to everybody that I've mentioned before. So everybody's going to be trapped indefinitely. Is Zone Blanche, or Black Spot. It's a French show. It's kind of a supernatural drama, and the way that they build suspense and the characters and their chemistry, I think is just fantastic. So if you haven't checked that out already on Netflix, go ahead. That's all I got today. Some updates about this little situation that popped up in my life, and that, hopefully from the earlier video, you got a little bit of an idea of at least what the hospital stuff is going on in one area of the country, my area. And yeah, you got a little taste of, elder care, because everybody's going to have to deal with it at some point. Maybe I'll post more videos about it at a later date when I'm able to bring some real useful information to the table and maybe some resources for people. But it really is a whole pickle. That, again, the reason I mentioned my age and the other one is usually people dealing with this are later in life. That's when they have the life experience requisite to deal with this. They've already raised children, and they're established or well established in their careers, or about to retire themselves, maybe around 50, 60 years of age. You start thinking about burying your parents or, their mortality. That's not the case for me. Mother is completely estranged. Father was dead, was murdered. All I got left is my granddad. because my grandmother died. You know, I'm not trying to make this into kind of like a whinge fest or anything about myself here, but it's definitely feels like a unique experience that I want to talk some about, maybe at some point, or maybe not. But it's just like when I'm relating to people and they're making certain judgments or insights about me or life in general, I often feel a little bit of a distance there because, like, you got no idea how different people's lives are. I don't know how someone else's life is either. Because, hell, does a nasty divorce between people can be a lot worse than, just having your dad be dead. But, fucking, life is weird. So, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, the best bet in any situation is to keep yourself as healthy, as strong as possible. And that can be really fun. That's why I'm always talking about physical exercise and finding out, the different little things like I did yesterday with the neuroscientist guy. That all helps towards that end because there's still so many domains and ideas to explore. That's also why I talk about philosophy and why my website not only does, essays, but speculative fiction and things. Yeah, it's kind of laying out all sorts of sketchy ideas. Try to bring a little bit more substance in this vlog. But yeah, obviously don't have the best energy right now because I'm getting ready to wind down and go to bed. But y'all take care of yourselves, take care of your families. Best of luck. Adios.